This isn't a drama video, this is an awareness video. Sargon of Akkad, whom I follow closely, finally put up his Beware the Male Feminists video, which he compiles all the ironic instances of self-proclaimed internet feminists being accused of or even charged with sexual misconduct. Obviously, this was intended to be yet another demonstration of social justice warriors eating their own, but I must say, I was caught off guard when he listed Enderphile, someone who I also follow, or at least was someone I followed until my Twitter account was permanently suspended for hate speech.
Justin George's Stephen Column, known on Twitter as Enderphile, and a self-described virtuous paedophile, was arrested in December 2017 on charges of sexual assault and possessing child pornography.
Enderphile is an admitted pedophile and self-described activist who advocates the destigmatization of non-offending pedophiles. That is, people who are sexually attracted to children, but understand that sexual exploitation is wrong and therefore do not act on those impulses. Enderphile, to my knowledge, has occupied at least 3 separate Twitter accounts: Enderphile, Enderphile 1, and Enderphile 2, all of which have been flagged, reported, and suspended despite the accounts never breaking the terms of service. If you've ever spent any amount of time on his page, you'll quickly recognize that it is uniformly one note. That is, people see his profile, in which he clearly and deliberately distinguishes between pedophiles and child rapists, and simply states that he is the former and not the latter. A pedophile, by definition, merely describes someone who has a deviant sexual attraction to children, but does not necessarily act on it. At worst, you can call this thought crime, but it is not against the law and there are no implicit victims. Child rape is precisely opposite this, yet the two are constantly conflated online. It is by ignoring this distinction, clearly stated in both his bio and pinned tweet, that Twitter users proceed to viciously insult him, saying he should be in jail, telling him to kill himself, or even threatening to dox and kill him personally. The hashtag #OPPedohunt exists explicitly for this purpose. Enderphile spends his entire time on Twitter sharing sociology articles and defending himself from this constant onslaught with reasoned arguments. And he has repeatedly expressed his dislike of SJWs as well as those who advocate reducing age of consent laws or otherwise seeking to normalize adult-child sexual relationships. And it is because he has challenged feelings with facts with a seemingly interminable degree of patience that I have respect for him, at least insofar as he conducts himself online. So why is it that he's included in a list of supposed male feminists who've committed sexual assault? I've followed Enderphile for months, and I don't recall him ever even mentioning feminism. Perhaps feminist is just interchangeable with social justice warrior now? Well, if we check the page Sargon is referencing, we'll see it is written by fellow Gamergate veteran Ian Miles Cheong, now writing for Mile Yiannopoulos' Dangerous.com. That's interesting. The article goes on to share multiple personal photos I've never seen before, and claims that this guy Justin George's Stephen Cologne is in fact Enderphile himself, citing tweets from Enderphile's account and stating that in real life he pretended to be a Catholic priest to prey upon children before being arrested for possession of child pornography. Now, the point of the video is obviously to show people who are hypocrites and not what they appear, but this message takes on an entirely new connotation when it justifies connecting Enderphile to Justin with undisclosed, unnamed, and unsourced internet sleuths and amateur investigators. Not even an anonymous 4chan screenshot is cited for this information. The only source listed for this entire article is a Global News Canada page from all the way back in August, which doesn't mention Enderphile at all. So somewhere between the 1st of August and the 21st of December, Ian concludes, based on undisclosed sources, that Enderphile is Justin, despite the fact that Enderphile has been posting to Twitter uninterrupted since then. Granted, now he's suspended again, but are you even looking at the same page? Ian mentions in the article that he goes by the Twitter handles Enderphile and Enderphile 1, but he's been going by Enderphile 2 for months now. Almost in anticipation of this, Ian's article even includes a couple sentences warning of imposter accounts. Oh, has Enderphile 2 been a skilled imposter for several months now? Are we to take that on faith in addition to the unsubstantiated claim that Enderphile is Justin, or is that just a convenient way to fill in the gaps of your story, Ian? What about this comment on your article claiming to be Enderphile calling you a liar?
There is absolutely no evidence proving that I am this Justin person. There never has been and never will be because I simply am not. Of course, if you had read any of my tweets or my blog posts on Medium, you'd know that, since I'm a married man with children in Europe and not an ex-seminarist single man in Canada. Just last week, I was traveling internationally, and I proved with geotagged tweets that I was taking a flight out of San Francisco Airport. Do you think a person on bail awaiting trial for molesting a child would be allowed to travel internationally freely? What began as a stupid assumption by pretty unintelligent wannabe vigilantes who thought two coincidences conclusively proved that I'm Justin is now becoming an orchestrated campaign to discredit everything that I've been saying on Twitter and Medium over the past several years. One day, Justin will inevitably go to jail, and I will continue with my online activities raising awareness and educating the public about the difference between pedophilia and child molestation. I wonder what excuses you people will find to continue to promote this idea that I'm Justin once he's finally behind bars. Perhaps he'll be tweeting courtesy of free Wi-Fi in Canada's jails.
And to this, Ian replied, "Do not pass go, do not collect $200, go directly to jail." How ironic. This appears to acknowledge Enderphile is who he says he is, yet asserts that he still belongs in prison. This comment repudiates your entire article, and tweets made to you further confirm that this is in fact the case. So why does the article remain online, and why has Sargon decided to include it in a list of male feminists? I would venture to guess they don't care. The cost of being wrong is falsely accusing an admitted pedophile, and that alone is enough to warrant publicly condemning them. So long as social stigma is on your side, it's no personal cost to you to go with the flow. This is why Sargon, despite admitting the untenability of arguments against veganism, doesn't go vegan. It would be unpopular, and it would grind against his pre-established bias. It's simply easier to ignore the inconsistency than to turn against the grain and change your behavior. And this is why I make this video. I was originally going to make this video a while ago, after I saw Michelle Caitlin's response to Amos Yee. Listen to this.
What is up guys, it's Michelle. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that's very dark and disturbing. So if you are the type of person who can't really handle these kind of issues, or has something related to it in the past, then I do not recommend you watching this.
Trigger warnings. We are including trigger warnings in our videos because the person in the video may say words that hurt your feelings. And listen to this.
Let's have a nice, civil discussion on pedophilia.
No, we are not going to have a nice discussion on pedophilia. This is a disturbing issue, and you are a disturbing person for even bringing up these kinds of opinions.
That is absolutely unacceptable. You want to bash on social justice warriors because your arguments hurt their fucking fifis, and yet you turn around and refuse to address a topic because it makes you squeamish? Well, maybe civil debate isn't for you. Maybe you should take your sippy cup, go flop your ass in a beanbag chair, and watch Fox and the Hound until your childlike innocence is properly destroyed. Because the wimpy, nutrient-starved, tree-hugging vegans are discussing meta-ethics to the tune of slaughterhouse footage. Because fuck your feelings, the topic is more important. And yes, I believe stigmatization of pedophilia is important because it's thought crime. Wrongthink. The reprehensible nature of being sexually attracted to someone who can't reciprocate. To condemn pedophiles as rapists on the ground that they can't indulge in the sexual fantasies they have is to equally condemn every human being on the planet with a sex drive but can't always act on it because it's illegal. Who is perpetuating rape culture here? This calls your entire list of perpetrators into question, Sargon. I would only have suspected negligence had you not titled the video and spent the majority of it talking about male feminists. Even if Enderphile were the guilty SJW rapist he's accused of being, which is reasonably doubtful, it doesn't belong in this video. You just threw him under the bus for quantity's sake. Logic made the issue crystal clear in his criticism of Armored Skeptic. Here's the clip.
By the way, funny thing about the Christians panicking that they'll be effectively banned from adopting or fostering kids. I saw people reacting to this on Twitter, talking about how fascist and evil the Canadian government is now, and so I went to the link that was going around, and it was this lovely little Daily Wire article by Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro didn't go to the original source. He used Heat Street as his source, just like seemingly every idiot on YouTube who refused to inform themselves. And somehow these people think Heat Street was a good enough source for this, despite the fact that Heat Street just copied its claims straight out of its cited source, which was the Christian Times. And the Christian Times article, in turn, was a shoddy rephrasing of its cited source, which was this LifeSite News article. LifeSite News being a conservative Christian mouthpiece started by an anti-abortion group. Now that's not to say that that makes it false, but it is to say that you probably shouldn't just assume it's true without checking. All I'm saying is keep your media skepticism on.
That is exactly it. We cannot allow ourselves to become intellectually lazy and traffic in falsehoods. But arguably more importantly, we can't become the very hypocrites we're accusing other people of being. If facts matter more than feelings, act like it!